Hello, callers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we discuss on some interesting updates. We start with manager Xavi Hernandez, who recently talks favorite win, talks about toughest players, difficult opponents since becoming Barca coach so far. We are going to discuss on that as we progress. Secondly, talking about former Barca coach Ernesto Valverde, who, of course, in a recent interview, he talks about the Cruyffism, Barcelona DNA, Neymar, and Luis Enrique. We're also going to be discussing on that. So, as we get right into it in much detail, please do ensure to subscribe, turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. In an exclusive chat with Spanish publication Mundo Deportivo, Barcelona manager Xavi revealed several personal milestones that for him are the highlights of his career so far. Xavi is set to celebrate his 100th match as a Barcelona manager when his team takes on FC Porto on match day 2 of the UEFA Champions League. Before celebrating the century of games, the manager got into a conversation with the aforementioned outlet, answering some quick questions. So, talking about the question of best match as manager. As a player, Xavi has played a whopping 42 games against Real Madrid in all competitions. But during his brief stint as manager, he has won 5 of the 8 Clásicos. This includes 3-1 win in the Supercopa Hispana in January earlier this year. So when asked about his best match of his career, he said, "The victory in the Super Cup against Madrid. It was our first title against Madrid, and the game that day perfectly reflects the idea of what we want." The manager also said that Madrid also happened to be one of the most complicated sides alongside Bayern he has faced during his managerial career. He said, "Madrid is always very complicated, and Bayern too." Of course, the manager said that last year's 3-0 defeat to Bayern in Champions League has been the hardest defeat to take. He said the 3-0 home defeat against Bayern last season, which marked the first or the final goodbye to the Champions League, has been the hardest defeat. Speaking of difficult opponents, he said that Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford has troubled his team a lot, and Inter, for that matter, have been the well-oiled team. He said Rashford cost us a lot, also Vinicius, Benzema. About Inter, he said Inter and their 5-3-2 did it almost perfectly. Upon asking which opponent he likes to play against, he said Atletico, Real Betis, Sevilla. They are filled with great atmosphere. Of course, when asked which victory is most special for him, he pointed at the local derby for the previous season where Barca won 4-2 against Espanyol away from home. He said last year's derby against Espanyol was the day we won the league. We won the title at the home of the rival citizen, and it was almost one of our best games. When asked which tactical tweak has worked best for him, he said, "We have been introducing several variants and most of them have worked, especially the change last year when playing with a false winger, although the team or the system was safe." Lastly, the manager was also asked which Barca player has impressed him the most, to which he said, "It would be unfair to single out just one. I prefer the mix of veterans and the mentality of young people, but what has surprised me most is the human quality of all the players I have had," he said. Great response there from Xavi Hernandez talking about his team so far as he's set to coach his 100th game against Porto tomorrow. Of course, what a great milestone for Xavi. He came in as manager in November 2021 after Coman was sacked. And honestly, Xavi has not been too bad as many people expected him. Honestly, Xavi Hernandez is putting up the effort to ensure that he brings the past glory to Barca, which of course is never easy. It's never easy to coach Barca. We understand the pressure that comes with it. Being manager of Barca is not easy at all because you need to deliver. It's a back-to-back basis. When Barca start going down, even just losing a single game in a week, many Barca fans start pointing fingers just to console themselves. It's not easy because if you put many of them at that spot, they will not be able to do what Xavi is doing, but it's easier for them to sit and say it, and that's how life is, you know. So Xavi Hernandez, hopefully he can celebrate the 100 game in charge with a bang, that is with a victory. Of course, playing Porto away from home is by no, in fact, it's by every means the hardest fixture that we have. If we can beat Porto tomorrow at the stadium, then for me, there is no reason why we should fear any other opponent in that group because that's a group that we need to top the table no matter what. Then on to the final story of discussion. Ernesto Valverde is perhaps a name that won't be remembered fondly among Barcelona fans. The Spanish tactician was asked to replace Luis Enrique in 2017, and his spell at the Camp Nou marked the beginning of a downfall, though others view his tenure as a successful one. Currently managing Athletic Club, Valverde, in a media interaction, has recently opened up on his Barcelona tenure and spoke about various things. Talking about the Cruyffism is a lie. He said the most striking part of the interview saw Valverde talk about Barca's identity and the sense of Cruyffism, and I still believe there is no such thing, and even at the prime, Barca used to hurt in crosses into the box. Valverde said, I heard about the Cruyffism thing over 500 times. I must have learned something by having him as a manager, but I can tell you, even then we used to throw long balls into the ball for Alexanko when we were losing, but yes, that DNA thing is sort of a lie. Wow. It must be noted that Valverde has worked under Johan Cruyff as player, featuring in 27 competitive games for Barca under the Dutchman's tenure. Valverde went on to speak about his term as Barca coach, suggesting that the club performed very well under his leadership. He said, I was a manager for another team and I was called to manage Barca. I replaced a great manager, Enrique, with a great team. Neymar left and I tried to do my best. I adapted myself to the situation. Things went well. No, sorry, not well. Things went very, very well. Ernesto was in charge of Barca for 145 games, where he guided the team to 97 victories. He was also the last manager before Xavi to help Barca secure the league title. Valverde's success on the domestic front, though, was shadowed by Barca's faltering performances in Europe. When asked whether he will always be remembered for the team's performances against Roma and Liverpool, he said, That's nonsense. I don't know if I should say it, but when I signed for Barca, people told me that I had to have a lobby. When I arrived in Barca, I tried to adapt to the big stars, the new environment. Slowly, you have to win them over. It was not easy, but eventually it went well for us. So, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.